Hey friend, welcome to Healthy by Heather Brown. Do terms like mental health, intermittent fasting, and buzzy wellness words make you feel overwhelmed? If you don't know where to start with loving the life you already have and letting your good things grow until they become daily habits, I got you, mama. So join me as we unpack what it looks like to live a life well loved and redefine a new approach to health from the inside out. Think of this space as your girlfriend's group text with the occasional dad joke and point of view from my Yankee hubby, Eric. We promise to give you key takeaways that you can implement right away to pursue health in your mind, body, and soul because God made us that way. Don't stress. Let's hop on this Hot Mess Express together. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. We are thrilled today to welcome Jessica Honegger. She is an award-winning social entrepreneur, speaker, author of the best-selling book, Imperfect Courage, which I love that, by the way, and host of the podcast, Going Scared, which has 2 million plus downloads. Holy smokes. She's the founder of Noonday Collection, a people-first lifestyle brand offering a selection of soulful artisan goods that create opportunity for those living in more vulnerable conditions, which I have been to several of their trunk shows and have had friends involved with them. So I was just really excited for that reason to get to connect with her personally and introduce her to you guys. But she's also an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award winner, was featured in Inc. magazine as the CEO of the 49th fastest growing privately held company in the US, and has written for such publications as the Magnolia Journal. So holy smokes, Jessica, welcome to the show. Look at you go,
It's so
girl.
fun to be here. It's so fun to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. I obviously just tooted your horn because there's a lot of great things to say about you. So I know that there's lots of amazing behind the scenes stuff that we'll get to talk about today of how you've accomplished all these amazing things. But will you just tell us a little bit about your fashion brand, Noonday, your family, just give everybody a little bit more of a personal glimpse into your life?
Absolutely. Well, I love it when women toot each other's horns. We do that a lot at Noonday and in our community. So the more toot toots we give each other, we all rise together. So it's so great to be here. So excited to chat with you. I'm a mom of 3. I have 2 kids the old-fashioned way, and we brought one child into the world via adoption. I have a beautiful 13-year-old boy from Rwanda named Jack. I live in Austin, Texas. I sometimes eat queso for dinner here. And yes, and ranch water, which I think was invented here in Austin, Texas. I don't know if you know what ranch water is, but it's a Topo Chico with a little tequila and lime. Love it. Little
So
tahini rim. It's the best.
Do you have a favorite canned version of it that you found yet?
Yes. It's called Epic Western.
Oh, I haven't tried that kind.
Okay. Yeah. It's actually one of my friends is the founder, and it is all natural. It's the best out there for sure. It's a little dangerous. It's a little high on tequila. Just warning you. You heard it from me first.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Okay.
I've gotten in trouble before with the Cutwater Spirits ones in a hot tub on vacation with my husband. So I'm I'm going to keep that in mind.
Keep that one in mind. Keep that one in mind.
Hilarious.
And so I founded a brand called Noonday Collection around 12 years ago. And we are a full lifestyle brand. In fact, we acquired another company a few months ago. It was an acquisition and merger named Seiko Designs, which is another social impact brand, and they have apparel. And so we now have apparel and coffee and home goods and accessories and bags and just beautiful, beautiful things that you're going to want to wear and know about if you don't know about us yet. Totally. And we really just believe in community and that when women are on a mission, we are unstoppable. So we have a really incredible brand ambassador program where you can become a brand ambassador for Noonday Collection, and you can create impact while also making an income, and you get to travel with us to some of the countries where we work, like Guatemala, India, Uganda, Rwanda. And we have a blast getting to just connect people around the world and wake up every day knowing that we're not paralyzed by the problems that we see, but we actually get to be a solution to the problems that we see in the world.
Oh, I love that. Last season, we talked all about mental health, and this season, we're talking a lot about relational health. And I didn't know if the conversation was going to lend itself this way, but I just have to ask because one of my followers was asking me, can you kind of just touch a little bit on adoption or even, and I don't know if you've ever done oh my gosh, I'm blanking on what's called adoption. And oh my gosh. Oh, when you have a child in your home for a certain amount of time, but it's short.
Foster care.
Foster care. Okay, I'm gonna restart that. So I didn't know if the conversation was going to lend itself this way or not, but I would love to hear a little bit of background from you because last season we talked about mental health. This season is about relational health. One of the things that one of my followers asked me was, if, are you going to have anyone on the show that's either adopted or is in foster care? Do you
Mhm.
mind? I don't want that to like take over the whole episode, but I would love for you to just share a little bit about your heart behind that and what that's looked like from your full body health, mental, spiritual, relational,
Mm,
all the things.
yeah, it really has changed my life and our life. And I'm so grateful for the journey that Jack has taken us on. My husband and I spent a couple of years overseas and had always seen entrepreneurship as a way to create opportunity for people to come out of poverty and really believe in family preservation and creating economic empowerment in communities as much as we can. But we know that there are still gaps in the system. And so we brought Jack into our family through a crisis that had gone on in Rwanda. And actually, it was through his adoption that we started Noonday because we did not have money at the time. We were working
Oh,
and
wow.
we were flipping houses and we were in the real estate industry right when it was tanking. Not great,
Not ideal.
not ideal. But I always say that courage cornered me then. And so many times we think that we're at the end of something and our ending is always our beginning. And I certainly thought we were at an ending then. I mean, when you have 5 houses, no doc loans, no one's buying houses at the time, you're halfway through an adoption, you're like, what are we going to do? How are we going to complete this? And so I invited a bunch of friends over to my house to shop some artisan made goods. And it just absolutely blew up from there. And I think people really wanted to support our adoption journey and they wanted to wear beautiful things that they knew how they were made and that they were creating impact for people. And we brought Jack home when he was about 2.5 years old.
Okay.
And he is from Rwanda, which is in East Africa. And it's just been for us a really journey on learning how to love and parent in ways that we wouldn't ever have known. I
Mm,
think that, when you especially are a new parent, you think there's this formula, good parenting in, good kids out. And I really wrestled with shame, especially as a working mom who was really building a fast growing organization. And my kids were all under 5 at the time. And I just had a lot of shame narratives around how do I define being a good mom? Because if I define being a good mom as like always around my kids or homeschooling or, always organic, I mean, whatever, then I'm not meeting that definition. And I think what Jack and adoption has done really help us redefine what good parenting is. And
mm,
good parenting always really became about connection. And it came about being able to be with our kids in their pain. And, I have my podcast Going Scared. I've interviewed several therapists, Kurt Thompson, who wrote The Soul of Shame, and Dan Siegel, who he wrote Parenting from the Inside Out. And both of them say, the number one thing you can do for your kids is make sense of your own story because so many of the things that we react to in our children, it's not about them. It really is about us. And we're not responding to our children. We're really reacting to our own shame or pain or maybe something that we haven't been able to learn how to just regulate. And so I think that when you have a non-traditional family, it just shatters all of these little cute little boxes, that
oh,
you
yeah.
create. And I'm just so grateful that Jack did that for us. And, really both because we just began to research, okay, well, how do you parent differently when you are parenting in a non-traditional way through adoption? And that is where we were introduced to this whole idea of connection. Whereas before, I think it had been about obedience, like that's the
Yeah.
outcome I'm looking for is obedience. And now seeing, it's really about connection. And now my kids are 13, 14, and 17. And Saturday night, my little girl had her first prom and we all waited up till 2 in the morning so that when she walked in the door, she was just going to have us to be able to be like, here's what happened. Here's everything. And I just think, gosh, thank God we did adopt because it just made us prioritize just creating safety in our home for conversations and learning how to be responders, not reactors, and learning how to just connect and create. I mean, I think more than anything, I just wanted my family to be a place of belonging for my kids. And,
Yeah.
especially now raising teens where kids often don't feel a sense of belonging. I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, you belong to us first, and you always will. Always. Like, I'm never leaving the room. Dad and I are never leaving the room. And when you can give your kids that place of secure. They know that they are secure. They know that they're safe. They know that they can come to you and be soothed. They know that you're not leaving the room no matter what. That creates such a safe, bold place for them to be able to go out and take those risks. I'm not
Mhm.
talking about the kind of parenting. I mean, what I've let my kids do. I mean, when my daughter was 10 years old and we took her to New York City for her 10-year-old birthday, those double-digit celebration, and my mom and I were up in the hotel and they did not bring coffee to our hotel room. It was like, what on earth? And so at 10 years old, I gave her the credit card. I was like, where the coffee shop is downstairs. And it was really just like, hey, this is your 10 now. Like, go downstairs, stand in line, order some coffee. And now actually my daughter, she works at Starbucks and it
Oh, how
started
funny.
at
Full circle.
16. I know, isn't that funny? It's so funny. But I think just, really when you create that kind of belonging for your family, and then we've just really ensured, and we say this all the time, we want you to get out of your comfort zone. We want you to leave comfort and go scared and learn what it's like to feel the fear and do it anyway. And so we really have like been with our kids and we basically have forced them, honestly, to do scary things that they didn't want to do. And that varies for each kid. One of my kids, he hated sports and he just was like, no, I will never do that. And we're like, then that's the thing we're going to have you do. And it was really hard, but I think you learn through that. So I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Adoption completely changed our parenting for the better.
Well, it sounds like it wrecked it in the best way, like the constructs that we have in our mind. And I really like how you talked about how, like, a lot of times our reactions to our kids are things that we haven't dealt with. And I feel like so often as moms, the biggest struggle that we have is that we put ourselves last. And when you put yourself last and you can't take care of your mental, your physical, your spiritual health, how do you have the wherewithal to connect with your kids when you're still so broken and the pain and shame that you haven't dealt with back here? And I also really thought it was cool how you talked about what our kids are really looking for is belonging and connection,
Mm-hmm.
because isn't that what we're looking for out of Christ as our savior? And how cool that he has modeled that relationship for us as a
Mm-hmm.
daughter for us and, sons for our kids with him as a
Mm-hmm.
father. And then what are we looking for? We're looking for belonging, our place. And so he really has shown us perfectly how to do that. So thank you for helping me have a light bulb moment all over
Mm-hmm.
again about like our father guy. That's super cool.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, you've talked about how you've redefined your parenting a little bit, and you talked about how you had the fast growth of the business. Can you talk with us a little bit about what made you so passionate about fair trade for people that are like, I don't have a lot of money, so I just go shop at Forever 21 because that's all that I know. What kind of woke you up to that? And then how did you deal with that as a business owner, also with the money struggles? Because that is the push and pull, I feel like, of shopping fair.
That's so true. Yeah, I was first exposed to sort of international poverty when I was in high school. And that's when I traveled to Kenya for the first time. And I just had this very specific moment where a Kenyan was walking us through the slum that their church had been doing some outreach in. And he pointed out a woman who was running this brightly colored fruit stand. And he said, because of a $50 loan, she was able to buy some fruit, sell it, make a profit, go out, buy more fruit, sell it, and eventually had enough economic empowerment to leave her really abusive marriage. And now she can provide for all of her children. And it was like, wow, for $50, like
Yeah,
$50
right?
can do that. And just the power of work and how God created us in his image, not to be robots, but to be co-creators with him. So I think anytime that we're working, whatever it is, now I know that like changing diapers and making dinner or raking leaves, those are the times when you're like, okay, in all things, I will do all things to glorify God. It doesn't always feel great, but there is
Yes.
an element of when we're using our bodies and our minds and our souls for good that we're stepping into our purpose, really, and how we were
Ooh,
created. And so many people around the world, first of all, there's 80% unemployment in Haiti, 60% unemployment in Uganda.
wow.
Um, Also, a lot of the jobs that are available are exploitive. So, whether it's people working and not getting paid, or whether it's people that actually get trafficked, um, I believe that when we actually, when work is actually exploitive, that is the opposite of that, innate way that God created us to be. So how can we be redeemers of work? And being redeemer of work, one of the most exploitive industries is fashion. And fashion, it's very much known to be wasteful. So not a sustainable way to be able to care for our earth. It's known as being very exploitive. And so how could I work in an industry that does things really differently and actually make it right and make it accessible? So to your point, you can go buy some $38 earrings on our website right now. I mean, we have some really great accessible price points. I think that's really important to us because we didn't want to feel like, oh, you have to just empty your bank account. And so we say, buy a little less and maybe spend just a little bit more, but just knowing that there are people behind your purchases. And of course, just with our brand ambassador model, you're also, supporting a girlfriend, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you're doing so much good. I always say, like, we're doing more good than most nonprofits. And so if you're going to give a donation, you might as well get some cute stuff out of it,
So true. I love that trait.
Yeah. Guilt-free shopping. I mean, it doesn't get any better.
Hey mama, do you feel like you are surviving on chicken nuggets and goldfish and haven't stepped in a gym since college? Or maybe, on the other hand, you feel like you're checking every health box and are still hitting a brick wall? Well, I'm here to help you redefine what it means to be healthy from the inside out. I'm a former fitness instructor and everyday mom who is passionate about helping you create a beautiful life you freaking love. So I'm opening the doors to the Healthy by Heather Brown membership to the public and can't wait to walk alongside you and be your cheerleader. When you join, you'll be added to my exclusive Facebook group. You'll receive my Sunday reset training that will help you create promising, sustainable, healthy choices from the inside out, which will in turn lead to a more joy-filled life for busy moms. Live coaching and workout classes with yours truly. You asked and I listened. We'll talk about how to balance your whole health when you have kids and life get busy with school and activities. It includes grocery haul ideas and accountability as we all reset together each Sunday. There will be so much offered that you won't find anywhere else on the internet. Are you ready to take one step out of stress, shame, unhealthy boundaries, and fatigue and add healthy rhythms to the Hot Mess Express? When you're ready, I'll see you on the other side of the link in the show notes. I'm excited and ready to hold your hand and meet face to face.
Yes, for sure. Which, don't worry, I'll put the link to Noonday and all the information in the show notes, you guys. But I did want to change gears just a little bit. I know you're the author of Imperfect Courage, Live a Life of Purpose by Leaving Comfort and Going Scared, which you've talked a lot about already. So I can tell it's like something you're very comfortable with talking about. So what do you hope is women's biggest takeaway from reading your book? And how do you practically play out going scared? Like, obviously you can force your kid to go play sports. But when you're like, oh, it's up to me to make myself do scary things. What does that look like to you?
Yeah. I try to have forcing functions in my own life. And forcing functions to me are basically trapping yourself so that you have to do the thing. And I mean, this is an extreme case that I'm going to tell you about right now, so don't freak out. But I, having been someone who had lived overseas and had worked with so many women in vulnerable environments, I knew I wanted to do a natural childbirth because that's how 90% of the women around the world give birth. But I knew that if I had access to an epidural, there is no way I would not have taken it. So I decided to do home births.
Oh, wow. All of them?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so impressive. I'm like,
yeah. And my second one was 11 pounds. So,
girl.
Oh yeah, I did it. And, so I think of ways where I want to practice courage. Well, if you're like, well, how do I know where I want to practice courage? Well, it's usually doing the thing you don't want to do that you know that you need to do, the
So
thing
true.
that kind of makes your heart pitter patter. And, it could be, there are so many little ways. And that's the thing. I wrote this book because I had always had this preconception that courage was Martin Luther King and courage was Rosa Parks and courage was these big, big things and big people. And when I started Noonday, I was really scared. I was scared because I opened up my home one night to some friends and I thought no one was going to come. And I didn't want to do it because I thought I'm going to feel like a loser. We're not leading the Bible study or we're not having the girlfriends over to our house. Or maybe some of us are longing for a place of belonging, like I talked about earlier, where you just like are in a book club or something. But instead of initiating that, you're so afraid that, well, what if people say no? And what is going to mean about me? And honestly, on the other side of our fears is our greatest impact. And the only way through your fears is through our fears. Like, you cannot go around them. And the more you learn how to start walking through your fears and then regulate in the midst of those fears. If you're a Christian, that means regulating with people that feel safe to you, that are Jesus with skin on. It means regulating with God's presence. It means being able to go, man, I'm afraid right now, and I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the more we can step forward in that, that builds resilience in us. And resilience is what makes us able to practice courage just on a normal, regular basis. I mean, I used to be so scared to text someone for the first time. Like, what if they don't get back to me? And I mean, and now I'm like, I would never even think twice about doing that. So there's just so many ways in which we're letting fear hold us back from actually living our lives. And we also let shame talk to our fear and be like, I can't believe you're scared of that. Oh my God, that's dumb. And that's not motivating at all, So it's also learning how to be really compassionate to those parts of us that are afraid. And that when we do experience the part of us, it's shaming the afraid part, to just be like, hey, girl, no, I gotcha. We're going to do this. We're going to do this together. And, I think back to that first night at my house, inviting friends over. I was scared to death. I wanted to call it all off. And if I had done that, thousands and thousands of people around the world would have never had purpose and work and jobs. And so we just can't diminish those what feel like little things, because it's the little things that lead to those bigger things. I mean, even I think about, there was this one time when I was going into a coffee shop one morning, into Starbucks. Okay. One morning before
work.
Hang on,
time out. What's your favorite Starbucks drink? You've talked about it twice now, so you tell us your go-to.
I'm so plain. I just give me a latte, like no
Regular.
Sugar, nothing, just plain Jane, and then make it a double, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Double shot.
Make it a double. Yeah. But I remember one morning when my kids were all in elementary school, and I was feeling like, oh, I'm getting to work on time today. I even have time to stop by and get coffee. And I walked into the Starbucks and I saw that mom at my kids' school that is like everything. She like picks her kids up from school. She drops them off. She brings the cupcakes. She's the class mom. Like, we all know that person.
We all know that girl.
Maybe you are that person. Maybe you are that person. But I saw her and I immediately felt that shame. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know when the last time I went to my kids' school was, I remember I like put sunglasses over my, how when you see someone, but you don't want them to know you see them.
Yeah,
I kind of was playing that game. Like, I'm
Duck and Bob.
Yeah. That's right. Bob and weave. I'm bobbing and weaving my way on out of here, but after the latte. And then I just had this moment of courage where I just thought, you know what? I'm going to talk to her. And so I was just like, hey, girl, how are you? Jessica Honegger. And she's like, oh my gosh, weren't you just traveling? And I said, yes, I was. And she goes, man, I just don't know how you do it all. And I looked at her and I said, I'm able to do it all because of you.
That's
because
so good.
you show up for my kids. And you show up for them in ways that I can't. And I just want to thank you for that. And she circled back to that moment months later and said it was such a turning point for her. And it was a turning point for me, where we could just celebrate one another instead of compare ourselves to one another. And so even moments like that, I think courage is just like speaking up. It's saying the thing. It's, like maybe you're comparing yourself to someone, and that's actually like a little bit of a sign for you to like go and encourage her and tell her how awesome she is, And the more we kind of act out in those ways, the more we just kind of become that person that we want to be,
So true. I'm like, that is the personal challenge that me and Jessica are issuing to every person listening to this today. You have to go tell somebody that you maybe don't want to a compliment, or like tell them something they do that you admire. And you're right. It's like when we even just pray for people that we don't necessarily like, or that maybe did something mean to our kid. And so we're mad about it. And what are we called to do? We're called still to love that person, still to pray for that person. And then God changes our heart. Usually.
That's right.
So
totally.
Crazy. Yeah. It's like he knows what he's doing or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Just maybe. I finally trust that.
Yes. So I would love to hear your take on this, because I feel like you talk about this often, and I think it'd be helpful for our audience. Why do you think your comfort zone is dangerous? I feel like that plays right into your story.
Yeah, I do feel like our comfort zone is the place where we want to play it safe. It really is. It's like the part of you that knows, okay, I really should go to my small group tonight. But man, I'm in the middle of watching this really great Netflix series and it's just so good. And so you stay home instead. Like that is your comfort zone. But
Yeah.
ultimately, that's not going to be what serves you. And it's not going to be what serves others because what serves others is serving you, right? And just to know your presence matters in the world. When you don't show up to something, you are missed. I think we don't believe that about ourselves. I think we don't believe like my presence matters, my giftings matter. What I could give tonight, maybe it's a word of encouragement, maybe it's just your presence. Like maybe you're just one of those people like my husband who's just, silent companionship. That is his strength. He is perfectly comfortable in silence. And that can be really comforting to people, that know, oh gosh, I don't have to just, fill the air with words right now. And I think really owning like my presence matters. And when you own that and my story matters, you're going to do a lot less sitting on your couch and scrolling and watching Netflix. And, oftentimes those are our comfort zones. And, I can say it, I've seen that in my life. And I think now, especially that I have these teens, I'm just seeing so much that they are practicing courage because of kind of growing up in this environment of our home, which was just kind of like, hey, I know that's scary and we're going to do it anyway.
We
Because
gonna
that's
do
what
it anyway,
we're
sister.
going to do it
Get out
anyway.
there.
That's right. That's
But
right.
you make me think so much about the things in my life that were the scariest, but have also led to the greatest reward, which are, I thought, well, I'll just always have to work full time for, the man or another business. And so if I hadn't started my blog in the beginning 12 years ago, then I wouldn't get to have this platform that I have now and connect so many women. And then I think that it's also really cool when you're willing to get out of your comfort zone. Like one of my biggest tragedies for like my personal life was I really struggled with postpartum depression. I had a 4th-degree tear with
Mm-hmm.
my firstborn, and I almost like didn't know like how am I going to come back here because the
Mm-hmm.
depression like took so much a hold of me, which is not my personality at all. But because I took the leap of faith and started this blog 12 years ago, and then 5 years later that I had this PPD journey, I get to be a voice online to encourage women who are going through that really hard time that not many people were talking about at the time that I first started talking about it. And so I think that so much of what you're saying leads back to your message is in your mess. So you have to be willing to put
Mm-hmm.
yourself out there. And if you don't put yourself out there, how can you impact others? And I think that's one thing that 2020 and our shutdowns really did a disservice to people is it made us too comfortable and not connecting with people and
Mm-hmm.
just being in the comfort zone all the time. And that's not what
Totally.
God created
And
for
people
me
are
for.
miserable now.
Yes.
It's
I'm like,
miserable.
depression's going up, anxiety's going up.
And it's been hard for us because we really took a stand on in-person gatherings and
Yeah,
travel and
we
like
did
these,
too.
yeah, and conferences and, doing things together. And so that was really disrupted and we still haven't gotten it back. I mean, we're still, we're obviously pivoting and we just actually launched a really amazing way to clean out your closets. So you can drop off your clothes at a friend's house and then you'll get credit to shop Noonday Collection.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's a way to just be sustainable, keep your clothes in circulation while getting to shop new. So get rid of the things you don't love, replace them with things that you do. So in some ways it's like helped us to innovate or think about, how do we get people up and out? But it is
Yes.
just wild and I get it too. Like I really, really do get it. Because there is like this languishing and fatigue that, has kind of settled in on the humanity, I feel like. So
Yeah, totally.
I mean, listen, I wrote getting out of your comfort zone before COVID, and now it's like, oh my gosh,
Well, this is 10 times more like applicable even now,
it
That's
is.
so
It really
cool.
is. Yeah.
So in the book, you did discuss connecting to community both, at home and worldwide. What are your best tips for creating community locally and worldwide for the mamas listening to this?
Yeah. I mean, I think I felt a lot of loneliness for a lot of my life. And for me, I had to just recognize, and I think there was a little bit of that voice of like, how come I'm the one that always has to do the reaching out? How come I'm the one that has to go and make this happen? And instead of like feeling like a victim, being like, oh, I have a gift. I get to go and create this for other people. And
Yes.
so for me, when I have felt lonely or felt like I don't have a place of belonging, or especially when I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm a working mom and no one else is, I'm like, I'm going to go and find the people and I'm going to say, and so that's what I just started doing. I said, like, when a few years ago, it was like, hey, can we meet and do a book club, once a week? We can meet at my office and do it at night after the kids have gone down.
Yes.
Now what I do is I lead a group of 7 leaders from around the country, and we do a physical retreat once a year. And once a month, we get on a 3-hour Zoom and
Oh,
we
dang.
ask each other, what are you longing for right now? What are you grieving right now? How can I create a space for you where you feel seen, soothed, safe, and secure? And we're all leaders. And that's been really important to me in this season, just leading, especially in this post-COVID environment. So I think, it's just so easy to look on the internet and feel like you're the only one that doesn't have friends. And all it takes is one person. It might be some trial and error. I'm not great friends with some of the people I was really good friends with a few years ago. I always say,
Yeah.
like, I'm actually not even friends with the girls that were in my wedding. Like,
Isn't
I
that
just
crazy?
I'm just not one. Like, I have not, it took me a long time to find my people. And that's okay. That's
It
okay
is okay.
too.
In fact, I think it's more common than ever before now.
So
it kind of
true.
feels like.
So true. So, go create what you want. And you have the power to do that. I promise.
You so do. Well, you're talking about tangible things that they can do. So one thing I want to ask you, and then I'll get into our final question that we ask everybody, but how do you reset and recharge each week? And does it involve some of that reaching out?
Yes. I'm even like driving home from work. I'll just like call a friend and just, for me, what I love is like stupid conversation. Like I love the deep conversation, but I also love like knowing, oh, I have a friend who was having a really important meeting today and I'm just going to call her and see how that went on the way home from work.
Yeah.
I do enjoy just like being able to kind of like getting on the phone and calling people. I'm realizing is I don't have it with most friends, obviously, but like the friends that I do, there's just something special about like phone friends.
Yeah. Yeah. There's very few people that you can talk with for that long and with almost like the expectations of carrying on that conversation that you've known for so long. And usually phone friends are those versus like
They
the people
are.
you work with every day or your family.
Yeah, they're the friends that you're like literally are just like, oh my God, I gotta go. And they're like, okay, bye. Like
Okay,
there's
bye.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those little things can fill me. And then the big things that fills me are really just, relational connection. And right now, I was telling my kids a couple weeks ago, because we have dinner together almost every evening. We used to be so social. Like we're at the house, right? Like we've got the pool, come over. Friday night, it was like, all right. I would drive home from work and like people would already be in my house making margaritas, like I would walk into my house to a party.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And we are not as much like that anymore. Some of that for sure was COVID just kind of broke up that like dynamic. But some of it is like my kids are actually very interesting people now. And we have such interesting conversations. Sunday night we sat around and binged 60 minutes.
I love it. Great.
Yeah. And like have these really interesting conversations about AI and cancer research. I think what really fills my cup is just honestly like my family right now, which is great
awesome.
Because let's face it, we've gone through some times where I wouldn't have said the opposite.
You're like, they're depleting my cup, so.
Exactly. So I'm going to take it when I have it,
Yes, for sure. Well, Jessica, tell everybody a little bit about where they can find you online and just anything else that you have new and upcoming you want people to know about.
Oh, awesome. Well, you can find me. I'm on Instagram the most as far as social goes. And we just celebrated 2 million downloads on the Going Scared podcast. So you can go check that out. We just launched some of our listener favorites. And so that is up live for you to listen to. My book, Imperfect Courage, is available wherever books are sold. And Noonday Collection. Lots of cute stuff, especially if I know you're not thinking about the holidays yet, but that's what we do in retail this time of year. We're gearing up. So we just launched a beautiful new collection and I would love for you guys to go check that out. And if you want to be a brand ambassador for us, you can head to noondaycollection.com and we'll tell you more.
Yeah, love that. So great. Jessica, we really appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much for being here. And like I said earlier on the podcast, I'd really like encourage you mamas to go and tell someone a compliment. Get outside your comfort zone, connect with another mom that maybe you don't know. And we love you guys. We're so grateful you're here. Make sure you check out Noonday Collection. And Jessica, give her a follow on Instagram for lots of encouragement. See y'all next time.
If y'all think I'm a little crazy, just wait till my favorite guest joins me in the marriage corner. It's my hubby, Eric. All right, y'all. How are you hanging in there with back to school season? Because I am going to be a bucket of tears.
I'm doing fine.
Classic man answer.
Can't wait for those kids to go back to school.
Oh my gosh.
See them way too often this summer.
Stop.
But
I'm dead.
It is funny that you brought up back to school. And, it kind of got me thinking about, when I was back in elementary school, middle school, high school, things of that nature, when I was thinking about our marriage corner. And I want to ask you real quick, what was one of your favorite subjects in high school, I would say?
Oh, in high school. I'm going to go with, English or anything in writing in high school, because that's what I was good at.
I'm not terribly surprised, but one of my favorite subjects was U.S. history, social studies, basically civics, anything related as far as I was concerned. It's one of my favorites. And so that got me thinking with our marriage corner. And I know, I've asked you some random questions or some questions in the past, but in the lines of U.S. history, citizenship being my favorite subject, I thought we would give you a little test today.
Sure.
In fact, give you a mini U.S. citizenship test.
Y'all don't judge me. This is about to be bad.
So I'm a big believer in that. It's important in marriage and with your children a lot of times. Not only do you have to laugh with them, sometimes you just got to laugh at them. At them as well, too. I'm going to give Heather 10 questions. And I will say I've reviewed a lot of these questions. Some are fairly straightforward, but there are some difficult ones. And I'm not going to go too crazy, but it is interesting that the U.S. citizenship is kind of separated in different categories. One of the categories is geography. Another one is recent U.S. history. There's colonial history, principles of American democracy, system of government. So there's a lot of different topics. I'm going to try and just pick a few from maybe each category. Is there anything that you're specifically afraid of, Heather?
Well, first of all I have to say is, your spouse loves to keep you humble, just like parents like to keep their kids humble. I'm specifically afraid of pretty much all of them, if I'm being honest, because I don't know how deep you're going to go.
Well, I'm going to say if you get 7 out of 10 right, I think your U.S. citizenship is safe. All right.
Not at risk of being deported.
We won't have to move to a different country.
Ooh, if we did move to a different country, where are we going?
Well, let me think about that.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start off hopefully relatively easy. Okay. We're starting in the geography section. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, and a lot of these questions, they are not multiple choice.
Oh boy.
Which is not great, but I will accept, loose answers.
Can you make it multiple choice for me because you love me?
I haven't thought that far ahead, so no. All right. First question. I think this is relatively pretty simple, but why does the flag have 13 stripes?
Oh, from the 13 original colonies.
See, easy. Off to a strong start. We got that. All right. This one might be a little bit more difficult. All right. Second question. Name one state that borders Mexico.
One state that borders Mexico. Oh, Texas.
Yes. That's very good. There's actually 4 states. Can you guess any more of the states that border Mexico?
Is one of them New Mexico?
Yes.
Holla! 2 out of 4. Wow.
2 out of 4.
Well, I'm scared. Nevada?
No. So what state is adjacent to New Mexico that is where we're actually heading in a few weeks?
Arizona.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And this one I think... No,
California.
Yes.
You got it.
All right. Those are the 4. All right. We're going to do one more from the geography section. But can you name one U.S. territory? There are 5 U.S. territories. This is a little difficult.
Now, when you say U.S. territory, you mean like southeastern? Like, I don't even know what that means.
So basically, there are territories, and I'm going to give you a little hint.
Okay.
Most of them are islands that are not part of the United States, but are territories that have, I believe, delegates that represent them.
Meaning like Hawaii?
So Hawaii is a state.
Right.
Not a territory.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's a state, but I'm thinking about things that are separate from the U.S. Cuba? I don't know. I'm so
man.
lost.
This was a good question. It's pretty great.
Alaska?
Also a state.
I know it's a state, but isn't it part
All
of
right,
the
all
jurisdiction?
right. I'm going to give you multiple choice. All right.
Okay, great. Thank
A,
you.
B, or C. All right. So A, we have St. Thomas, the island in the Caribbean.
Mm.
B, Guam, or C, Dominican Republic. A was
St. John.
or St. Thomas. I can't
St.
remember what I
Thomas.
said. That is incorrect.
Dang it.
All right.
Oh
So
my gosh.
the answer I was looking for was B, Guam. Other American territories include Puerto Rico,
Mm.
U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, the Northern Mariana Islands, and Guam. So,
I don't even think
All right.
3 of those existed in my life, but okay.
all right. So we're 2 out of 3. We're still headed towards U.S. citizenship. So let's get out of the geography section. Let's go to, let me see here. I want to go to recent U.S. history. All right.
Uh-oh, this could be bad.
All right. So here we go. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s. This one war in the 1900s.
World War
1900
II.
Bing, bing, bing. All right, great. Can you name any other wars that were fought in the 1900s?
Civil War.
My gosh. No.
No, dang it. When was that fought?
1860s.
Really?
Yes.
The Civil War?
Wow.
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 Okay.
Maybe we should cut this out. All right. So other ones, World War One,
Hang on. Vietnam.
Vietnam, yes, yes.
I should have said that one and not Civil War.
You
It's
know,
okay.
it's all right. You really put yourself out there on a limb. But you only need to get one, and you got one. So
Right.
you are 3 out of 4. All right, here we go. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803?
What is a territory?
So it's a big piece of land, and I'll give you a hint. So it kind of, how am I going to say this? So it was a very big portion of land ranging from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to Canada and encompassed a huge part of the Midwest. It was the blank purchase.
Oh, this is ringing a bell.
It's a state, the state, it's the name of the state, purchase.
The land yap.
Oh my gosh. No, I said, is that
I
a state?
know, it's
The
not,
state.
It's not.
Mardi Gras, New
Oh.
Orleans,
The Louisiana purchase.
Louisiana purchase.
Okay, can I tell you really what happened in my head?
What?
I thought the Louisiana purchase is the only thing that is like ringing a bell, but I thought that can't be right because you said it's not. You didn't say it was on the right side of the country. I thought you said it was on the left.
No, I said it was in the middle, the Midwest.
Okay. I really would have gotten that one. I
All
think
right.
if it was multiple
So-
choice, I would have gotten that one.
We're 3 out of 5 now, I think.
Can we call
No,
that
or
4 out of 5?
I think we're still 3 out of 5. So,
Okay,
all right, we
fine.
got some work to do. All right. There were 13, this goes back to the colonies, okay? 13 colonies.
Okay.
There were 13 original states or colonies. Can you name 3?
Can I have multiple choice, please?
No. The immigrants that are coming to this country that are working hard, they did not have multiple choice. All right.
They
Just
also
3.
studied for it.
So-
for it.
Let's think about it this way. Where were a majority of the colonies back, in the 1700s?
Or like New York and Pennsylvania and all those.
Okay, you've got 1.
Oh,
You've got
great.
2. New York and Pennsylvania. Name 1 more.
Okay. Maine. No. Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to give you that one. So Maine came into the Union a little bit later on, So anyways, all right. So we've got New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North and South Carolina, and Georgia. Those would be the
Oh,
13 colonies.
sorry, Georgia. I failed you, Southeasterners.
All right. I'm going to give you that. So what are you? 4 out of
6.
4 out of 6. All right. Still need to do some work here. All right. Easy one. What are the 2 major political parties in the United States?
Democratic and Republican.
Correct.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right. 5 out of 7. All right. We're going fast here.
Rapid round.
How old do you have to be to vote for president of the United States?
18.
Boom.
Yes.
All right. Nice. Rapid fire lightning round. All right. So now you're what? 6 out of
8, I think.
6 out of 8. All right, 2 more questions. This one's a little bit more difficult.
Oh, crap.
How many justices are on the U.S. Supreme Court? How many? I'm going to give you multiple choice unless you just want to go.
12.
I'm going to give you multiple choice.
Okay, great.
And then we're going to go from there.
Great.
All right. A, 12. B, 7. C, 9. Or D, 5.
Really? And I don't think it's 12 because you gave me multiple choice. Oh, how many? Say the question one more time. How many?
How many justices are on the U.S. Supreme Court? Everything I gave you, except the first one, is an odd number because you have to usually get to a majority. So it has to be a 3-2, if there's 7, 4-3. If it's 9, it's 5-4. There has to be some kind of majority.
All right. I'm going with 7.
Oh my God. All right. We have no more room for error. It all comes down to this last question. We are 6 out of 9. If Heather does not get this last question correct,
I got to be kicked out of the country.
You want to go to Canada or Mexico? Your choice.
I guess Canada. I did take French in high school.
I think I would choose Mexico. All right,
I want to go dog sledding.
Last question. I have to make this one good. All right. So it says name one branch or part of the government, but there's, typically you associate with 3 branches. Can you name one? If you get 2, then I'll be very impressed.
Executive branch.
Boom.
Yes.
All right. So now who is in the executive branch?
The president, right?
The president, correct. All right.
And the vice president or no?
Just I think it's that whole situation.
Okay.
All right. So you got the executive branch. Do you know the other 2? You already passed. So these
Thank
are all,
you. I win.
This
I
is
can
all
stay in the
gravy
US.
from here, but this could be some more comedic relief.
Okay, you got the executive branch, you got the judicial branch.
Correct.
Thank you.
Supreme Court.
Yep. But I thought there were 12 justices on the Supreme Court, so I'm very thrown by that last question.
9.
Wow. Okay.
I think the Democrats would like to make it 12 so they can, pack the court. But anyways, we're not doing politics here. We're not doing politics.
We're not. That's not our thing. Okay, and then
what's the last one? What's the branch
executive
that makes laws? Starts with an L. Rhymes with... Well, it's really hard to rhyme this. Legislative branch.
Legislative
Congress,
branch.
U.S.
Of course,
Congress, Senate.
Okay. How many members are there in Congress?
How many members in Congress? Are we talking House or are we talking Senate?
Both.
All right, so Senate's obviously the easier one. And honestly, I'm gonna have to look up. I believe there's 400 and 400 and maybe 15 representatives. That's probably wrong, but it's right around that number, I believe.
Wow.
The senators. There's 100 U.S. senators.
Okay.
So 50 states, 2 per state.
Okay, got it.
You know what, Heather? I think you did pretty good there.
Thank you.
You can remain a U.S. citizen. I'm happy that, we can stay married. I don't have to move to Canada or Mexico with you. Maybe we can move to Guam. I don't know.
Hey,
so
there you go. See. I'd be more on board with St. John, I think. Take me to the islands. Okay, well, it's been fun. Tell us how many out of Eric's questions you got right. DM me on Instagram. It's Healthy by Heather Brown. Make sure you give me a follow while you're there. And then if you guys will do us a huge favor, click that follow button. It helps us know who is listening. And also it helps us to be able to get great guests on for you guys. All right. Have a great Tuesday. See you next time.